Hey guys, Kevin Lifestyle Overland here, coming to you with a Gaia GPS tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about routing, planning, and downloading maps for off-grid travel. We got a big trip coming up for North New Mexico, and so I just want to walk you through kind of how we go about planning for our adventures and taking all this information along with us. So let's get started. Alright guys, welcome to the tutorial. Today we're going to walk through setting up your routes and downloading maps for your trips. I'm just going to walk you through a little bit of how I take a look at different areas and stuff and get ideas for where I want to go, different options and things like that. So it's going to be a very informal video here. Just want to show you how powerful the Gaia GPS online navigation planning software actually is. So we're up here in northern New Mexico right now. I'm running several different layers. Let's go ahead and walk you through the ones that I like to use best. So we have US Topo, just a very basic topographical map. This is a good one to keep in all of your kits. I'm running a Google Satellite Hybrid now. This is not available on Gaia GPS. This is a custom map. This is kind of a hack, but we'll do a dedicated video at some point to show you how to add this in as well, because it makes it really handy to have that Google information as well. I'm running the Nat Geo's Trails Illustrated. This probably needs no introduction if you've been in the outdoor scene for any amount of time. These are highly detailed maps that are going to give you a lot of information on a particular area, from everything from campgrounds to hiking trails and things like that. And I apologize if this takes a minute to load. I have a very slow internet connection where I'm currently located, but just bear with me here a bit. And then we have, this is the US FS 2016. Now this is the most up-to-date version of this map. There's a lot of other information found on the older version of this map, but this is the one that we typically run. And then this right here, this MVUM, this is the bomb diggity, guys. Having the ability to use this layer to overlay multiple different map sources. So for example, we're gonna slide this topo down here as our base layer and bring it up as well. Drop this back down a little bit so you can see that this is going to transpose across multiple different map sources. Makes it really handy for identifying where your motor use vehicle areas are going to be. Now in the iOS version of the app, you can actually tap on this line here and it'll give you some information about that trail, open dates, closed dates for different seasons, things like that. They to date do not have dispersed camping. That's still a bit of a challenge to transpose that information over from the MVUMs, but I know Gaia is probably working on that. They're all the time coming up with really cool ideas and adding new features to this program. So still no excuse. You need to be carrying a version of the MVUM anytime you're in a national forest. So make sure you download those from the National Forest website as a PDF and carry that with you as well. Alright, so I digress a little bit. Mapbox Outdoors HD. I have fallen in love with this little map. It's very clean, very well laid out. There's a lot of great information on here without being too cluttered, and so this is probably one that I'll use most for planning my trip, coming up with ideas. Gaia Topo, this is a strong topo. This is a good one to have. I would either run this one or the US Topo that we talked about just a second ago. Gaia Roadmap, very basic road map layout here. This is great for if you're going to be running the hard roads. And then we have Google Street. Again, this is a hack. I'll eventually share the secret with you guys. Huge shout out to Keith Kessler for teaching me how to add this in. Keith is the Gaia guru. Alright, I think we've covered all the layers that we're playing with here. There's a lot of others. I mean, with the Gaia GPS Premium, you're looking at probably, it used to be 250 layers. I think they're probably over 300 different layers to play with now. But these are the ones that we typically use. There's a lot of fun ones that we can play with. There's historical topographical maps. There's other satellite sources. There's wildfires. So if you want to look at where a burn area might be located, you can utilize this. This is actually probably one I should throw into the mix just so we don't end up heading towards a camping area that has no trees. So let's throw that in the mix. And then obviously that pops right up on the map here. And again, in the iOS app, you can actually tap these locations and it'll give you the year of the burn. So you can tell if it's something that's going to be growing back or if it's still fresh burn. And then obviously the public land layers, we need to throw that in there as well. All right, I know this is a bit confusing. This is a lot of layers, and this is more than we need to use for our planning. So for simplicity's sake, I'm going to move several of these out of the way just so you can see what we're working with here. All right, now I'm just going to bring my public land layers down so we get a little bit of transparency there. I'm going to bring my wildfires down just a bit as well. You know what, I'm going to turn that off just because it's too confusing for now. Okay, now we're ready to start planning. First thing I want to do on our trip north is over here on the Enchanted Rockies Trail, and I don't have the route laid in right now, but basically the old route would actually tie in about right here, come out of the National Forest or through the National Forest, depending on which direction you're traveling, and it would come back and join into the interstate right here. Someone has actually blocked this off about this location somewhere in here. Someone bought private land and put a road or put a chain across the road here, so it's actually killed this direction. Now my good friend Alan over on Facebook, he's a Overland Bound member as well, he's come up with an alternate option, which he's going to go investigate probably this weekend as well. So we might go and take a look at that and see if that's a viable route around. But I've actually got bigger plans. I've actually got another idea. I think I'm actually going to bring you guys this direction, and we're going to go up here to what's called the Gaia Caldera. Now this is a national preserve. You can go into this area, but they only issue 35 different vehicle passes every day. So I've already checked on their website. There's been some washouts and you can only go a few miles in. So we're not going to bother with going into the Gaia Caldera. We're going to go around it, and I think there's a fun little trail that we can create. So all that being said, let's start here from Los Alamos, because if we're in Signal, we're going to be running Google Maps anyhow. So I don't need to route the highway travel. I want to start here in Los Alamos, let's just say somewhere in this location, and we're just going to start clicking. And if you notice down here in the routing mode, we have several different options. We're going to select driving, and what that's going to do is snap to the nearest road, and we're just going to come through here. Now you don't have to add a lot of these points. I mean, you can really spread them out, but I recommend you throw one in every quarter mile, just because it seems to make the system a bit happier when it comes to routing this and saving it and sharing it. So as you can see, this is just snapping to the trail nicely. We're skirting the outskirts of the Caldera Preserve. This is on Forest Road 144, and we're just going to see how I stepped way too far apart, and it decided to go a whole nother alternate route. So we want to back this up a little bit, keep it nice and tight, and we're just going to work our way around here. All right, so this is an option. So my idea here is that this gives you a little loop. You can go basically drive around an extinct volcano and pop yourself right back out here to Espanola. So that's an option. Now we're just going to save this. We're going to hit save, and we're going to go in here and say ERT, Enchanted Rockies Trail alternate. And that's going to give us another option. Now we can change the color. Let's just go ahead and change it to red for now. That will show you exactly where we're going to go. I'm excited about that option. That looks like that's going to be really fun. All right, let's do that again. Let's just walk you through another little idea that I had as I was playing around the other day. Now, rather than shooting in here to Espanola and getting back on the highway, we're going to make our way to Red River. We've got some friends that are going to meet us up here at Red River. You've seen them in one of our episodes. This is the Get Lost Box family, and we're just going to drop a waypoint, boom, right here in Red River, just so I've got a quick little visual. Now you can change this icon as well. I like to use that for civilization, and then you can add some notes if you so desire. Okay, now this is where we're headed, and let's see, let's just say we've just finished this part, but we want to extend the trip. We want to make it just a little bit longer. So there's a lot of fun little options that we can come in here and do, and you got to be careful because some of these forest roads, man, they get out here and they just dead end, and you can't go any further. But as you can see, they're also interlaced with county roads, so that keeps the adventure alive. So don't just look at this MVUM. You got to zoom in. You got to see if there's any other roads that are going to tie us back together. So let's just play with this a minute. Let's see what we can do. Let's say that if we get to this point and we're like, hey, let's keep going. Let's see what else we can see. Let's jump in here real tight. See, there doesn't appear to be a way to tie into this section. But what we can do is we can get crazy here. We can grab a satellite image. Let's just zoom in. And the satellite image wants to suggest that there is a road somewhere in here that ties in. So that's an option. That's a possibility. Could be private land. Might not be able to cross it. But it's just another way to check things and see if it's going to be an option. Now, in this case, I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to say that there's not a road there. Maybe let's grab, you know what, let's bring Gaia Road Maps up. Yeah, see, even Gaia Road Maps doesn't give us any help. Does Trails? Trails isn't even listed on this side. So we're going to play it safe. We're going to come on down here. And I think we're going to jump off the trail at this point. We're going to go right up through here. Okay. And you can see that sometimes, you know, this isn't necessarily Gaia. This is sometimes the map source just doesn't have the pieces that the software with Gaia needs to actually route to the road. So you might have to do just some close little clicks to get it over to a section where it's going to recognize it. And see, now we're back on track. And now we're rocking and rolling. All right. So as we're routing this and as I'm planning it, just want to mention that the other piece of this is there's a lot of map sources, and I've had some people complain and say, oh, this doesn't match up with what's actually in the field. This is outdated. Well, that's, you know, it's very possible. Gaia doesn't control these map sources. These are put out by different government agencies, and so all they can do is update them whenever they come available. That's why you want to carry multiple map sources. So when you come in here and you download this information, you want to have more than one map source, so that when you do get out there and you find that, whoa, this isn't working, you can look at a map and make an alternate plan. So right now I'm just trying to decide how I want to come up through here. It looks like this 97 is a pretty good route, and we're going to have to back that up to make it talk to it. All right, and so bring it a little closer, maybe a little closer. There we go. Keep it going. Come on, snap to it. There it goes. And then come back out here. So that's a nice little side trip right there. And then we're just going to jump on the highway here. Looks like it found another little side road. I don't know if that's actually a legal route. So let's pull it back to the highway again. And sometimes a slow internet connection will do this. It will not want to snap. There we go. All right. And this is just handy. I'll show you eventually another software program that I used to use to plan these routes with, and it's not near so user friendly. Whoops, I didn't want to go up there yet. I want to come down here. All right, so now we've made it to Red River. So that's a nice little side trip. Gonna hit save, and then we're just gonna call this one Come on, internet. Caldera to Red River. All right. And we'll call that one purple. All right. Cool. So there's another little side trip. Now, I've noticed recently that after I save this, sometimes the software decides to add a little loop or something. So you want to double check that. And then you can jump in and say edit route, and we're going to try and figure out which one of these guys is actually causing us a bit of frustration here. Alright, so it's not that one. Maybe it's this one. There it is. Alright, stop being a booger. Try to delete it. Still want to reroute. There it goes. Okay. So, just a little, there it goes. So what we had to do is we had to move that waypoint across this section. There's something that is just not registering properly in this little switchback. So that's pretty doggone close, though. We can look at our mobile app and see exactly where we need to go from there. Alright. Alright, so that's got that taken care of. Now, let's do one more little trip. Let's do this one more time and show you another little side trip. And you're getting some free GPS information here. You're getting some free trip ideas. Alright, so we're just going to change this back to driving. Sometimes you just have to get in here and really tell it exactly where you want to go. But more often than not, it's pretty good about finding the route that you want. There we go. Now it's back on track. Alright, so this right here is actually Greeny Peak. So I'm going to save this now and call it Red River to Greeny Peak. Alright, save that there. And I'm going to add a waypoint just so we know where in the heck we're going. And this is a beautiful, beautiful view of North New Mexico. I've been here before. Alright, so this is Greeny Peak. Whoa, with 3 E's. Greeny. Greener. I'm trying to type around my microphone right now. Alright, so Greeny Peak, and we're going to call this Photo Op. Alright. Get your photos for the gram right there. And then we're going to continue on. And yeah, let's do this. So we're going to leave Greeny Peak. Now we're routing. Now we're routing. Now there's a lot of camping, if I recall correctly, back up in this area. So this may be some place that we go to explore. But then when we're done, we're going to come back out 134. Just like that. Cabresta Lake is really beautiful as well. I don't know if we'll have time to swing up in there. Now, back when we did the Enchanted Rockies Trail, we got a lot of great information on this area. And so we're going to come out of this area with our friends, and we're going to take them up and show them the Valle Vidal. So we're going to work our way up this direction. And let's see. Let's bring up a road map just so we can look at something a bit different for a minute. And this is just not updating because my internet's really slow. Alright. Here we go. Alright, so we're working our way to Amalia. Now if you were to go north from here, that'd take you to Great Sand Dunes National Park, but we're actually going to come back down here. And it's kind of nice how I don't know if you can see it or not, but it kind of makes this old line really opaque and small so you can still see the trail. I like that addition. In the past it would just be there and hard to see through, so there we go. Now we're tracking. Now we're tracking. Alright. And it looks like there might be a bit of a loop. So maybe what we'll do is come back and add just an alternate little route there, and we'll color it a special color just so when we see it on our mobile device while we're traveling, we can make a determination on how much time we have left and go from there. Alright, so that brings us back down here to Cimarron. So let's save that, and we're going to call that Greeny Peak to Cimarron. Alright. And I like that color. We'll leave it that. Alright, so that's a quick walkthrough on how I do my planning. Now, like I said, the snap to trail isn't a perfect evolution, but I tell you what, it makes it really, really nice when it's working right. You just have to be willing to do a little bit of workaround whenever it doesn't find that information it needs to snap to route. So what we're going to do now is, now we have all this information, I want to share it with my friend Caleb. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click on this track, go to Actions, open up the Details page, and I'm going to create a folder. And I'm going to say July 4th Adventure, New Mexico. Alright, I'm going to create this folder, and now it's created. It's all alphabetical, so where did it go? A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I. There it is. So now that's in that folder. Alright, so we're going to jump back to the main map and grab the next one. And same thing, open the Details page, and we're going to select Add to Folder and jump in here. July 4th Adventure. Back to the folder, or I should say back to the map. And then we're going to go over here and grab our next section. Add to the folder. Just like that. And finally our last little piece, so that went from there. Actually, that was it. Okay. Okay, so now that we've got that, we want to throw these waypoints in there as well. So you're just going to do the same thing. Gaia, if you're watching, it would be cool if you could add us a button right here to say Add to Folder. That would be really handy, and maybe it would just like give us a drop down with folders to drop it into. That'd make this a lot faster. Just a bit of feedback. And these guys are awesome. They're constantly asking for suggestions. They're constantly adding features, so they will get around to that if it's at all possible. Alright, so we're going to go back to July 4th Adventure. Boom. And let's just show, let's just go grab this Greeny Peak again. Details, add to folder, and July 4th Adventure. Okay. Alright. Alright guys, now that that's done, if you want to share that, what we're going to do is we're going to go up here on your accounts page, and we're going to go to folders. So right here. July 4th Adventure. And now at this point we got several options. So if the person you're traveling with is running a standard GPS, then you can actually send a file to them in the GPX, KML, or GOA, or this other format, and I'm not even sure what that goes with, but you gurus out there can comment below and tell me what that's really all about. So anyhow, you can download the data, and then what we're going to actually do here is we're going to share. So up here in the upper right, we can take this link, we can copy that and email it. You can share it straight on Facebook, Twitter. You can embed it in your website if you want to, for that matter. And here's a list of all the different stuff that's in that folder. And then we've also got a direct email, so I can actually put in his email here and hit share. If I want him to have the option to maybe throw in some extra ideas, I'll give him the option to edit that route as well. So lots of different options here. We can add notes about this particular folder. So if you're collaborating with someone on a big trip, you can keep tabs of the different changes and stuff and ideas. So very cool, very powerful program. So this just wraps up the basic process for doing a bit of route planning right here on the Gaia GPS website in your internet browser. And we're going to jump over to the next segment of the video here and show you how to plug this into your mobile device and get you on the road. So let's jump over to the next segment. Alright, so we're going to jump into our iPad here, and first thing you want to do is make sure that your Gaia GPS app is up to date. Now this has been connected to the internet, so it's just giving me a notice that has been added. I like to jump in the release notes just to see what they've added or changed, just in case a particular button or something is moved. And what I found interesting on this one is that right at the very top, added an option to choose a folder when saving a track or waypoint. Perfect. That's awesome. I actually sent them an email about this not too long ago, so to see that they've got it here on the app is awesome. I'm expecting it to actually show up on the desktop version of it as well in the near future, so that's cool. And then you can kind of breeze through here and see some of the stuff. These guys are constantly changing, constantly upgrading. I love it, I love it, I love it. Alright, now that we've done that, what we want to do, first thing, before we start saving any type of data, is we want to make sure that we have the layers selected that we need most. Alright, so I'm not going to take that one. So file size may or may not be a concern for you depending on how big your device is or how fast your internet is. So we're going to keep it pretty basic, mostly because I already know the area fairly well. And I'm not really looking to do a lot of exploring. I already have my route kind of planned out, so I don't need a lot of detail. I'm just going to grab a few things here and maybe just a basic satellite layer as well. Let's just throw some up here and then we'll clear them out. Okay, so I feel like this is a pretty solid setup. We've got our MVUM, our public LAN, satellite, Nat Geo, UFSS 2016, and the Mapbox Outdoors that we're going to use as our base layer. So you can see that as we slide these guys back, it's going to reveal our base layer and then bring them back up. And you'll be able to adjust these after it's been downloaded. I'm just giving you a quick example of the different ways that you can create a custom map layer. So say, for example, if you wanted just to touch a satellite, you can bring that up and bring everything else back down. So it makes it really, really powerful. So if you notice, we're already connected to the internet and all of our work is already synced to our device. Now you want to make sure that this happens before you go and download this information, and I'll show you where to do that. You're going to come in here to settings, and again, this is iOS. Your Android app will look a little bit different, and you're just going to go up here to help and you'll see exactly which one that you're on. You can also go into the App Store and make sure that it's been updated as well. You can click on account here and see it's synced at 211. It's now 216, so we know that everything is good there. If it's not, you just tap that and it'll double check it for you. Okay. Alright, so now we're just going to come in here and download map. Use our little guides here to select an area. Now obviously this up in the right hand corner is 3.8 82 gigabytes. That's bigger than it's going to allow us to download. And that's just because some of the maps I selected are really heavy in data. So we might take this down to a bit of a smaller zoom. What you can also do is just bust this up into multiple downloads. So maybe we'll grab this section here and then hit save in the lower right. And then at this point we can actually give it a title. So we're just going to say North New Mexico 1 and save that. And you'll see in the upper left hand corner here the little spinny thing show you that the download is in progress. You can tap that, bring it up, and watch the status of each different layer. Now some of these are going to download faster than others because of the servers that they live on. Gaia doesn't necessarily own every one of these layers, so they're at the mercy of wherever this particular map source is coming from. If for some reason the download hangs up, you can actually hit the stop button and then resume it, and sometimes that'll free it up. Alright, now we're going to grab that other section that we were talking about. And the awesome thing about Gaia, especially on iOS, is that it's going to show you where you've already downloaded information from. So you can guess about where you want to start again. And it will not duplicate information. So it's even though this square breaches into this existing download, it will not duplicate that information, so you're not going to be using unnecessary amounts of storage on your device. Alright, then we're going to hit save, and we're going to call this one North New Mexico number 2. Save. Boom. Done. Okay guys, that about wraps up this tutorial. Hope you found it informative. Hope you learned a few things. If you have any questions, make sure and post them in the comments below, and I'll include those in the next video. Got a lot of awesome content coming on all of these navigation devices that are hitting the market now, and I want to make sure that you guys are informed, make the right decision on which one is right for you and how to use them. So stay tuned for the next navigation video. Oh, and by the way, don't forget to go to www.GaiaGPS.com/lifestyleoverland. We've got an affiliate discount that's going to save you between 30 to 50% off the regular retail price. So if you think Gaia GPS is something that fits the bill for you, go check it out. Until next time, safe travels.